What is up, everybody? It's your girl Diamond Monet here, and I am back. Okay, I am back with another video, girl. Girl. I know it's been a while since you guys seen my face on this channel. I've been dealing with a lot, doing a lot, handling business in the real world. Also, I've been on my booktube channel. You can subscribe to that below. I will have it linked. But I am back over here on this side of things. Before I left, or I think I did my last video around March-ish, April, which is about 7-8 months ago. And yeah, I've just been working ever since then. Since I went ghost on this channel, I've been working. I have posted a couple of videos, just trying to get my feedback wet over here. Those videos came from my TikTok, but I'm back with long form content, ready to yap away. And I hope you guys are ready to go on the ride with me. So basically what I'm kind of introducing back into this channel is, of course, commentary, because I love to talk, reaction videos, of course. And I don't know about the vlogs, we shall see. But I've been very lonely in my personal life, but I've had so many thoughts, opinions, and views about everything going on in pop culture, news, and in my personal life. And I don't have anybody to talk to. I call my mom constantly, and she doesn't want to listen to everything I have to say. So I figured I'd turn the camera back on and I can find like-minded individuals who want to discuss current events with me, even stuff in my daily life. Like today, I even want to talk about sea moss, okay? So we'll be talking about sea moss. We'll be talking about Luigi Maggiani. We'll be talking about Jay-Z and a host of other topics that have piqued my interest since being back on TikTok, okay? So if you're interested in that, or if you like my personality, of course, I think you should consider subscribing, like the video, engage with the video, share the video, and yeah, let's just get straight into it. So first things first, you have to be hiding under a rock if you didn't see what just went down, what news just broke 24 hours ago regarding Jay-Z. Jay-Z has been verbally and literally named in a lawsuit from a lawyer out of Texas named Bugsby. I'm getting his name confused. The current person suing Jay-Z right now is still unnamed. She remains a Jane Doe. She is alleging that back in 2000, after the VMAs in the 2000s, or in the year 2000 after the VMAs, which happens in the summertime, she was assaulted by Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs, Sean Carter, and an unnamed female star. And so this news broke, and it's just like, it's not the shot heard around the world, because I knew, or I felt that this was coming just like everybody else. Like, they're coming after everybody. But what makes this especially interesting is Jay-Z's response, Jay-Z's relationship with P. Diddy, Jay-Z's relationship with Beyonce, Jay-Z's relationship with the music industry at large, and Jay-Z's relationship with younger women. It has never been known that Jay-Z has ever dated a woman his age. He's always dated completely down as far as age is concerned. So I honestly think it's just his time coming. I believe in the Illuminati. I believe in demonic spirits. I believe in doing something strange for some change. And I really think that it is just now his time to reap everything that he has sown. And what we are all experiencing and witnessing is the crash of the celebrity entertainment industry and the rise of influencer creator economy. More authenticity and real life substance that'll help us all get through this thing that we call life. So we're gonna go to my most favorite TikToker. I absolutely love her. Her TikTok name is Culture Work, and she has a couple of videos that I think will be great for us to spark conversation around the topic of right now, Jay-Z. So yeah, we'll go to the first video that I absolutely love and I want to share with you guys.
Good evening, happy Sunday. Jay-Z has been named in a Diddy lawsuit as the celebrity male who joined Diddy in allegedly sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl. This post in particular has been sourced from CNN, but a lot of other outlets have picked it up tonight. Before we get into this, Jay-Z has gone ahead and already released a statement, which if you're following Elon Musk, if you're following a lot of the
y'all, the statement that Jay-Z released was so cringe, so rapper worthy, so actor worthy, Oscar worthy. It's insane. insane. It is completely wrong on so many levels, and it's victim blaming, it is accusatory, and it's hiding his shame. Behind every word, all I could sense was, I am ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of myself. And also regarding the fact that he had to quote unquote sit his children or sit his 13-year-old daughter down and explain to her what's happening, I just thought back to 15-year-old Foxy Brown, 15-year-old Rihanna, 18-year-old Beyonce, who was actually 16 when they first started dating. And I think of all of these teenagers, and I thought, did you ever consider the fact that you were going to have children one day, and some of your children would happen to be female, would happen to be a girl? Did you ever consider that? And did you think for 1 second that she was going to be untouchable? Did you think that your past would not come back to creep up on you and haunt you? Karma is completely real on so many levels. I was just talking to my mom about this the other day. The tiniest thing that I do or have done to someone has come back to me tenfold. That means that I have received the exact same thing that I have put out into the universe on another person. That's why I live my life completely right. That's why I live my life completely right now. I do nothing wrong to anybody. And I'm sorry if being myself might seem wrong to you, but I'm living in my truth. But as far as intently maliciously doing something wrong to someone, saying something malicious, being crude, physically harming, I do none of those things, because they will come back to haunt you. And Jay-Z's whole thing is, I feel like, I watched, I think, State of the Culture, no, not State of the Culture, Van Lathan, whatever he's on, whatever show he's on, he was on guest starring on a show last night. It was right before I fell asleep. Van Lathan was like, when he read Jay-Z's statement, Jay-Z, and I'm paraphrasing here, Jay-Z wrote, or the air that Jay-Z's statement gave off is that, how dare you bring this lawsuit up against me? No one's gonna believe you. And I think that shows how much or how out of touch these celebrities are with reality, to think that we think that this could not be true. I believe every word. And news flash, a lot of other people do too. So you would have to really prove to me that this woman is a liar. If anything, some of it might be falsified, but I believe at least 85% of this shit is true. Anyways, let's get back to the video.
The Cat Williams prophecies, it's think about the kids, think about the children. Saying he and Beyonce are going to have to sit their children down and talk about this. This incident allegedly occurred in 2000. We will talk about what Jay-Z was doing in the early 2000s. Before we get started, I want you guys to revisit some of the videos that I made this year and maybe even last year, and I will try to drop the links in the comments. But the first being in February, when it was announced that the Rock Nation brunch would be canceled. Brunch, of course, is an industry staple at this point.
That's also completely insane. The Rock Nation brunch canceled. That is a staple of the whole Grammy weekend award kickoff for the music industry. Canceled. And it was really at the onset of everything that started to happen with Diddy, of course. But it's just like, the Rock Nation brunch, really?
But in my opinion, it has also been a place where I believe the most despicable men in the music industry have had no issue showing just how bonded they are to each other, gloating their 30-year-long friendships with smiles, cigars, and champagne. This would have been Jay-Z's first appearance in the 90 days, really, since the Cassie lawsuit dropped. This would have been one of those big industry events that you would expect to see Diddy at. Mind you, in February, he was still very much a very free man. I, of course, on my iconic Substack said the brunch was probably canceled because the guest list was ducking subpoenas at this point. But in the announcement that the brunch was being canceled came the official excuse from Team Beyonce and Team Jay-Z. The entire flagship.
Everybody knew. Grammys are about to come up again. February, Grammy weekend, Everybody knew, because it was all on the tail end of what Cassie had just did in November, which around this time last year, all of this shit was going down. And it's just like a trickle ripple effect, basically a domino effect. And so I guess he was like, you know what? It's too much heat on the team right now, we're gonna cancel this year. We'll bring it back next year, which guess what? I think it's all done. Everything is gonna collapse. Burn this shit up. Knock it all over. It's all completely done. Let me just let culture work.
An event of his company had to be canceled because Jay-Z and his wife were attending a award recognition ceremony for some industry executive that evening. The brunch time event could not happen because they had to be somewhere also in Los Angeles at 7 p.m. Secondly, in a separate video, I said that the most strategically advantageous thing Jay-Z has done for his career is rebrand himself from being Jigga Man, as we all knew in the 2000s, to this bon vivant antler-haired daddy who gets to exist under this sort of protection of not just Beyonce, but of the fucking cult. The money has been stacking. The commercial projects have been stacking. The commissions are being paid for what I believe is anticipation of a moment just like this. The money will go very far. It'll be a very long defensive legal game against accusers and commentators and journalists who talk about them. But I don't know if it's going to work. At the end of the day, the music industry is the mob. It's not like the mob. It's not like the mafia. It is the mob. There is a white side of the industry that stays clean publicly, and there are the street level criminals they intentionally seek out and sign and platform and build with as their fall, the ones they could easily and legally wash their hands of. That is why Diddy is sitting in jail, and the co-founder of Bad Boy Records is at Craig's having a steak tonight. That is why Death Row Records co-founder Jamie Iovine is probably in Maui having a Mai Tai. It's why Barry Weiss is probably, on a Peloton bike in his mansion. And why Leora Cohen would have never signed an Israeli rapper to disparage Israeli women the way that Jay-Z happily did it to Black women for him. Let's stay on track though. In the early 2000s, Jay-Z's most substantial collaborator was none other than renowned fucking pedophile, Mr. Robert Kelly. And Mr. Robert Kelly has been dodging allegations of sexual misconduct since the early 90s. In 1994, Mr. Robert Kelly, at 27 years old, married 15-year-old Aaliyah. Per witness testimony, their first alleged sexual contact was when she was 13 or 14. In 1994, Jay-Z and Diddy were both 25 years old. When I talk about the peer group, this is a graduating class. Mr. Kelly's marriage to that child was not confusing, nor was it a secret. Vibe magazine had published their marriage license in 1995. You have to understand, in the 90s, access to information as consumers was very limited. We only had a handful of vessels, and they were all heavily corporatized. It was either print magazines, newspapers, MTV, or corporate radio, hip-hop radio station. I was fortunately someone who grew up listening to Wendy Williams on the radio, and she was a rogue during that time. This is an era where shock jocks and also real true investigative journalism excelled because it was necessary. Let me zoom myself out. Let's start at the bottom here. In 2000, 5 years after that marriage, 4 years after it was annulled, the Chicago Sun-Times was heavily investigating R. Kelly. It's not just rumors, it's not just shock jock radio, it's not just hip-hop magazines.
And please don't you ever forget, also guys, do you guys remember how hard Wendy Williams used to go on P. Diddy? I don't know if she had anything negative to say. Let's take a break from culture work and let's look up Wendy Williams ideas about Jay-Z. Does she have anything to say? What does it say? Wendy Williams.
Fried chicken and wontons and teriyaki glaze and an egg roll. Some people think the Zaxby Zenzi.
We come from a very homosexual era of hip hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career, and it's all coming full circle now. So,
well, if there's one thing Wendy watchers are missing, it has got to be Wendy Williams' perspective on everything that has happened to Diddy. Right now, she'd be in her chair going something like, clap if you are shocked. But didn't she try to warn us, though, about people like Diddy and Jay-Z?
it's quite honestly, I think that this is the kind of couple that will stay together because it's good for business and because they don't want to disappoint us. They reportedly are trying to figure out a way to split without divorcing. In other words, a hood divorce.
Beyonce's true age Check.
Well, what is her true age?
Miss Wendy Williams may be owed a big apology because she...
Y'all, this is my girl. Like, Wendy Williams is my girl. And the fact that she is like headed for full-blown dementia as all of this stuff is unfolding is like, it's so irritating to me, to say the least. I don't have any other words right now to say because she was the person to start these types of conversations back in the 90s. And she, of course, used to hint at them back in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, before the crash, before her downfall. So, yeah, that's my girl. I'm gonna go back to culture work, though, but I just wanted to see, like, what Wendy said. I didn't do any research. My mind didn't go automatically. Let's go and look up some Wendy Williams stuff before I decide to do this video. So we'll just go back to culture work.
Is real, verified, accredited white press, mainstream press, real press. 8 years after R. Kelly married a child that he had been sleeping with since she was 13 years old. 2 years after the Chicago Sun-Times starts investigating R. Kelly. Jay-Z partners with R. Kelly, who's not his label mate, not an artist he assigned, but practically partners with him for an album called The Best of Both Worlds. They announced it in January 2002. In February 2002, the P-tape, featuring a minor, surfaces. In March, they released the album. Doesn't sell well, though. In June, Mr. Robert Kelly is arrested on 21 counts of CP. That arrest, from what I'm able to gather, made Jay-Z distance himself from R. Kelly, not anything else I mentioned before that, because R. Kelly was bad for business and he was fucking up the money. This is an era back when albums would sell millions of hard copies, and I think that album only sold like 280,000 copies. Yes, there's public outrage, but R. Kelly stayed on his bullshit. He was still backed by his label. He was still able to put out more albums. He put out Chocolate Factory. It had some really good fucking songs on it, and people let him cook. 2 years go by. Now we're in 2004. Jay-Z's on his like farewell, I'm retiring bit. R. Kelly's back to being hot, and they say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do another album together. After all I just
Nothing else made Jay-Z distance himself from R. Kelly. It was only when R. Kelly got arrested and brought to court for, as you heard her say, 21 counts of CP. You guys know what CP is. That in turn was what made him decide, you know what, I got to back off of this guy. And they got back together and still did another album. But you have to look at things like that. Money, or for the love of money, is the root of all evil. This man married and slept with a minor, got her pregnant, she got an abortion, all of this happened, she was still a child. On top of that, did CP with children, performing all of this type of stuff on camera with these children, was acquitted, I think, right? He was acquitted, found not guilty. Boom, we're back on. We're back on now. We're doing more albums now. Jay-Z is like, okay, he's in the clear. Let me get back with him so we can make this what? So we can make this money. Money, 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 money. It's all insanely crazy. It's crazy.
That includes the 1994 marriage to a child. That includes the tape that came out in 2000. That included the arrest for 21 counts of CP in 2000. The heat had cooled off. He was still hot. So you know what? The money's back to being okay. Let's make unfinished business. Not only that, let's go on tour together. Madison Square Garden arena level tour together. After all I just mentioned. Jay-Z is 35 years old in 2004, by the way. The tour is a mess. R. Kelly's a mess. He's complaining about the fucking lighting. He's not showing up on time. He's getting into physical fights with Jay-Z's crew. Halfway through the tour, he gets kicked off. Again, not because of anything else I just fucking mentioned. When I first made my post about Diddy, the first thing I said is, everyone knew, because everyone in the entire industry knows. R. Kelly stayed signed to Jive Records until...
But you want to know why none of this fazed Jay-Z for real? Because he was too busy in the back room with P. Diddy doing what he did to this woman who is now 38 years old, might I add. A young woman, still. 38 is very young, and she's now suing him and coming forward with all she got. And guess what's going to have to happen? Discovery is going to have to happen now because he will not, or he refuses to do the quote-unquote like payoff thing because he feels like he's being extorted. And I think he's just like, I didn't do this. But now we're going to find out other things about what was possibly going on around that time because he doesn't want to settle. That's exactly what also happened with Cassie and Diddy. So we don't know what's going to be coming down the pipeline, to be honest with you.
2011. 10 years after the P-tape, 15 years after marrying a 15-year-old little girl. These collab albums were released as part of a partnership between Rockefeller Records, which Jay-Z and Leora Cohen own, Island Def Jam, which Russell Simmons has, and Jive Records. In 2018, the Washington Post did another large expose on R. Kelly as it relates to the industry that protected him and knew about him, saying Clive Calder, the founder of Jive Records, knew about R. Kelly since at least 1994. Barry Weiss, the president of Jive for 20 years, told the newspaper he didn't really concern himself with R. Kelly's private life, saying he didn't know about at least 2 of the lawsuits that were filed against R. Kelly and the label for sexual misconduct, even though the label had successfully argued that they weren't liable for those lawsuits. Again, these labels, the executives who work for them, will always be able to wash their hands of these wild, untenable Negro liability they are rinsing millions of dollars out of. That is the proof of the working system. Anyway, fun fact, in 1987, Jive Records tried to enter a distribution deal with Clive Davis's Arista Records, and Clive Davis said, no, I don't want that hip-hop shit. But just 6 years later, in 1993, he found a way to keep his hands clean by becoming the co-founder of Bad Boy Records with that one. In 2002, after a whole bunch of merging, Clive became the chairman of BMG, which now put him in charge of Jive Records, a label he didn't want to partner with at Arista, and a label that R. Kelly is signed to. And happening his first year as chairman is his reach across the label aisle to make this happen before, of course, he leaves in 2008.
And she is my favorite for all intents and purposes because of this phenomenal 7-minute and 30-second video. Awesome. Tons of knowledge and history compacted into a 7.5-minute video. So shout out to you, Culture Work. I love what you're doing and keep on working. So let's go to some of the comments. Someone says, pretends to be shocked. Where's Solange at? Jay-Z was there the whole time. The fact that he kept standing by these dudes means he had the same mentality. Totally agree. And he looked the other way. I'm still shocked that Cat Williams ended up being right about everything being revealed this year. Cat Williams needs to do a 2024 outro. That's a good one. Girl, this journalism. See? Yep, it is. People not knowing about Aaliyah and R. Kelly is insane to me. Me too. It's still so many people who are super dumb to this. It took longer than I expected. I appreciate you for calling out the music label owners who often remain unnamed and unscathed in situations like this. Jay-Z, you dated an underage Beyonce and Aaliyah. I'm just saying. So yeah, shout out to Wendy. Shout out to Miss Wendy Williams. That's my girl. She's gonna always be my girl. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. I find this case a little bit more intriguing because Jay-Z seemed to be able to keep himself isolated and removed from all of the salacious whispers that would go on in the industry regarding demonic behavior, CP, dating underage. Like, he was literally able to remove himself from the whisperings about Beyonce being underage, Foxy Brown being underage, and about how he used to chase Aaliyah around and he would not stop until she became his girl, which it never happened because, of course, you know, Dame Dash came in and scooped her up, which is still not okay because Dame Dash and Jay-Z are the same age, but I don't know, for some reason it just seemed like she was more apt and willing to go with Dame Dash. It just seemed like a real and a serious and a very romantic relationship, at least from the photographs. At least she just looked very much in love with him, but I still truly believe that Aaliyah was a pass around. I'm sorry, she's a pass around. She's a victim, and her parents sold her to the music industry, really her uncle. I think his name is Barry Jenkins, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we're done off this topic. On to the next one. All right, y'all. As you know, a swiper brutally murdered the CEO of the United Healthcare Group. I don't know, was it like 4 days ago, I think? Let's get our facts together. When was the United Healthcare CEO murdered? Yeah, so was 11, so 4th, December 4th, he was killed December the 4th. And so his name is Brian Thompson. He was in New York getting ready to go to some sort of conference, some sort of meeting, and he was leaving the Starbucks and he was shot from behind at point blank range twice, once in the leg, once in the head. And yeah, and the killer was on the loose, right? So here we are some 7 days later and he has been found. Right now he has been charged. The young man in question's name is Luigi Maggiano. Right? Am I saying it right? Mangione, sorry. All right, so what we know about the investigation. United Healthcare CEO shooting live updates. Suspect fights extradition. Wrote, these parasites had it coming. Luigi Maggione, 26, was charged with the murder last night in New York in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, who was shot and killed in the city last Wednesday. Maggione was denied bail today in Pennsylvania and is fighting extradition to New York. He was arrested yesterday morning at McDonald's restaurant in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where he was spotted by an employee. Police said he had a gun similar to the one used in the shooting, a silencer, and a fake ID. In handwritten notes, he said these. He said that, and I quote, these parasites had it coming and that he wasn't working with anyone. Police officials told NBC News. Maggione shouted to cameras as he arrived for his extradition hearing this afternoon. It's completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Investigators are still trying to determine whether Maggione made the gun they allege he used to kill Thompson. Two senior law enforcement officials briefed on the investigation told NBC News. Law enforcement officials had said Maggione was found with what has been described as ghost gun by the officials told NBC News. It is unclear whether he made it himself or bought it or was given the firearm. However, those officials said there's little doubt that the gun and the suppressor were both handmade. White House condemns violence to combat any sort of corporate greed. Really? I don't know. Of course, you guys know we have to go to TikTok. So I'm going to go to my profile, my favorites. Okay. Louis. That's a cute name, Luigi. My favorite. We're going to go to Torre. Of course, we're going to support our own, so Black media.
Luigi Mangione is a child of wealth who was radicalized by intense back pain. Pain so severe that he did not think he could live a normal life with it. I did a deep dive into Luigi's life on my Substack. It seems that the critical moment was in 2022. He was living in Hawaii then at a co-living space, and the people who were with him there say he was lovely, he was brilliant, he was a leader, he was a big part of their book club. They also watched him grapple with a very serious back issue that left him laying in bed for a week, writhing in traumatic pain. He had back surgery, but his pain and his anger at the healthcare industry only multiplied. He's a kid from one of the wealthiest families in Maryland. His grandfather got rich in part by owning a lot of elder care centers, which means that he got a lot of money from insurance companies. This year, for about the last 6 months, he has been completely off the grid, not talking to anyone, friends, family. There's lots of messages on different social media with friends saying, hey, where are you? Your family's looking for you. Haven't heard from you. Are you coming to my wedding like you said you would? Where are you? What's going on? On November 18th, his mother reported him as missing. It seems like a time of depression and fugue and dealing with trauma. He emerges from this 6 months of not talking to anyone in his life by going to New York. He recently read J.D. Vance's Hillbilly Elegies. He read 2 books about Elon Musk, loves Tucker Carlson. I think this guy is Trumpy. He's officially unaffiliated with any political party. He was caught with $8,000 in cash, in U.S. cash, and $2,000 in cash in a foreign currency, and a sleeve that prevents a cell phone from transmitting data. So he was trying to get out of here. He was trying to get to another country for sure. Check out my whole deep dive on his life on my Substack.
I don't know. I think I found this interesting for two reasons, and two reasons only. I most definitely thought at first that it was a murder for hire. As I dug deeper into Brian Thompson and finding out the mystery behind why he could have, or someone could have wanted him killed, was he was under investigation for laundering money within the company for insider trading. His wife and him were also estranged, and I thought maybe some money might have been like needed or wanted on her behalf. Sorry to the wife for thinking this, but I was thinking maybe plot murder for hire there, or just someone in the company or someone who had ties to him maybe wanted him dead. So that's why I found it interesting. I also found it interesting because of the way that he was murdered, the fact that the guy had a silencer, the fact that it all just seemed like such a like high stakes, like Jack Reacher type film. I don't know, like it gave Taken a little bit. It was really giving like action-packed movie, but in real life. So it was very interesting. But to find out that the person who decided to murder him was valedictorian of his high school, into computer science, electromagnetics, I think I read somewhere, super smart, brainy guy, book nerd, bookworm like myself, who just seemed to have been radicalized by the lack of hope and by fear. And I don't know what else. Hopefully some more manifestos comes out and we can figure out what's really going on. But I guess to find out that this is just an ordinary guy, it's just very odd to me. But in any event, this is a major event that has happened in the year 2024. And for my age group, 34 year, damn, I'm not 34. I am 32 years old. But this is like insane that something like this has occurred and has happened. Seeing as though all of the things that we are experiencing and going through here in America, we're about to have Trump in office again. The lack of hope that I experienced and felt when Donald Trump won, feeling like a woman, feeling like my voice is not heard, feeling like I don't have autonomy over my body, even down to experiencing the things that I'm experiencing in my personal life. If you want to know what I mean by that, I will, of course, like I said, link not only my booktube channel, but I'll also link a life update that I posted on my booktube channel, as I felt like I needed to explain where I had been because I'm so present on that channel. I have life things going on as it relates to my child, and directly affects my healthcare insurance, and understanding how I've always known how healthcare works, but dealing with all the things that we're dealing with regarding her health, and like seeing how claims are being put and sometimes denied, and you're thinking like, I pay all of this money every time I get paid and you don't want to approve X, Y, and Z. Like, it's all very interesting to me personally. So I would want to know, like, why would someone want Brian Thompson killed? I personally don't have United Healthcare. I used to, but now I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. But still, it's all just very interesting. But I'm hoping once again also to hear more about this case and see how it unfolds. But in the meantime, in between time, that's a little bit on Luigi Maggioni. And I think what we can gather from the first two stories is that money cannot buy you happiness. Money can buy you happiness. Money only can offer you status in a world full of greed and evil. But at the end of the day, someone is still searching for something outside of the things that money can buy. And I mean that by Jay-Z, and I mean that by Luigi Maggioni as well. This man has committed capital murder, all on regards, or as it relates to his personal beliefs and nothing regarding his status in the world. So I find it quite interesting, and you know, I just want to know why he did it. I really want to know more. All right, so girl, let's segue into some stupidity. Okay, all right, so it's very, very ignorant. As you guys know, TikTok is a great place where you seek information, where you seek knowledge, where you find like-minded individuals, relatable content, recipes, new ways to clean your bathroom. And then there's always, almost always, a dumbass opinion that's being shared on the internet. And you have to respond sometimes to it. So I want to share a video that means, or that hit in a place for me. Yeah, and then we'll discuss it.
Hey sisters, I want to address this comment and some of the other comments that you guys are saying. Some people are saying that they love their tattoos. Some people are saying that they don't like their tattoos. Some people are saying like get better tattoos. Some people are saying better placement. Here is the thing. Tattoos are only normalized in lower socioeconomic classes. So with that being said, you are not the exception and I am not the exception. Quite frankly, they are ghetto. Like, there's no other way to say it. It is what it is. It doesn't matter what you get. It doesn't matter where you place it. Specifically, you had nothing better to do with your money or your time than to ink your body. And people in life that are going places, they understand this. They understand there is no reason why you should be inking your body. There's literally no reason why you should be inking your body. Like, it's literally dumb. Like, I don't know what else to say to y'all. And like I said, I, however, was not told that I shouldn't do it, because I myself came from a lower socioeconomic class, and that does not refer to race. You can be of any race and be obviously in a lower socioeconomic class, but what I want y'all to understand is it shows. Like, it literally shows, and no matter what y'all say, it's ghetto. Like, it is ghetto.
Okay.
Hey, sister.
All right, so this young lady's name is Jalika McNack. And all I can say is, well, I'll say what Deontay said first. So Deontay also is another one of my favorite TikTokers, because he is just one, funny, but a lot of his takes regarding just anything that happens in the world culturally or just in his day-to-day life are so legitimate. They're real, factual, and they just come from a person who has great character and a huge conceptual understanding of the way the world works. So I really enjoy his content. But he said it's simple. Sometimes you have to look at the conversation and the person, and you have to think, like, this couldn't come from nowhere but the CIA. Like, the CIA will throw shit at the black community like crack, okay? So they'll just throw it in the crack community and do an experiment and see what happens. So for a take that literally nobody asked for, tattoos are ghetto, and then to continuously say it's for or comes from women or people in lower socioeconomic circumstances or statues is insane to me. It's crazy. It is ignorant on so many levels. She's uneducated because let me go to Google tattoo history. If you type in tattoo history in Google, of course, like anything, so much information is going to come up. So much. It's just like, it's almost too much. So I'm going to just read something simple. So, all right, so, the evidence of tattoos comes from the earliest evidence of tattoos comes from clay figurines with painted or engraved faces, which date back to 5000 BCE or earlier in Japan. The oldest known tattooed human is Otizi or Otizi the Iceman, a Bronze Age man found in the Alps in 1991 with 57 tattoos on his body. The purpose of tattoos. Early tattoos were likely used for therapeutic or protective purposes, such as to mark people into social groups or to safeguard pregnancies. For example, Otizi's tattoos were located near acupuncture points, and some scientists believe they were used to treat arthritis. Culture. Tattooing was practiced in many cultures, including ancient Egypt, the British Isles, Scandinavia, Italy, Greece, China, Japan, and indigenous America. In ancient Egypt, tattooing was primarily a female practice for about 1,000 years. In Samoa, men have large, painful tattoos called peye. I think I'm saying that right, that cover their knees to their waist, while women have tattoos called melu that cover the knees to their upper thighs. Like, the popularity of tattoos has fluctuated over time, but it's currently high. In North America, it is estimated that more than 39 million people have at least one tattoo. Like, to me and for me, I will go on TikTok also and share just a random thought or a random idea that I might have, but it'll never be rooted in ignorance, such as saying tattoos are ghetto. That sentiment alone almost speaks to her idea of tattoos being grouped in the lower socioeconomic class, which basically she's talking about the Black community, even though she said it's not regarding race. Like, you clearly have never been anywhere. You clearly don't read. You clearly don't visit Hawaii, or you've never been to Egypt. Have you even watched Moana? Have you watched Moana? Like, those are the things that I mean when I say people get online and they search for, or they're looking for a viral moment. And it's almost like they know exactly what to say to spark controversy to get a rise out of people, because there's so many people with 1 to 10 to 5 to 4 tattoos. And it also doesn't speak to, she said something about going, like, anybody that's going somewhere doesn't have a tattoo. I've been so many places, and I have so many other places that I'm headed. I've made money since the age of 24. You know, I went to college. I'm educated. I speak well. I stand up for myself. People look up to me. I'm headed in so many different places based on the mindset that I have, and also the way that I carry myself. And yes, I'm not gonna always have my tattoos out at work, but sometimes I might wear a short sleeve shirt. Sometimes I might take off my cardigan, and my tattoos are not an eyesore to anyone. It's a conversation starter. If anything, people are like, oh my God, Diamond, I didn't know you had this many tattoos. Based on your appearance, based on the way that you speak, I did not think that you had a sleeve. And I have an entire sleeve on my arm. So it's just ignorant. I hate to see people that look like me, African-American Black women, beautiful Black women, speak so negatively of their community and have these idealistic views and these alt-right white supremacist views about things that more so define who we are as a community and as a people. And I am a proponent of self-expression. So when takes come across my For You page like this, I have to speak on them because it's negative and it's wrong. So yeah, those are the things, like literally these are the things that have been on my mind that I want to talk about today. And I truly have not been able to express myself to another human being about them. So that's why I'm coming back on this channel to do so, because that's why I switched over anyway. And honestly, that's why I make content in general, like, to speak to the masses about current events and important things in my life. So yeah, that's today's video. And of course, we'll be back with more. As I figure out more things to discuss, as I jot down in my notes some stuff I want to talk about, I'll be back with another video. But for now, that's the one. That's it. That's all. That's the sentence. And until next time I see you guys in my next upload, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, whether you're watching this in the morning, evening, or in the morning, afternoon, and evening. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.